Welcome back to Attitude, Effort, Results, presented by the Clubhouse and Teamwork Online. What's Tanner doing now? What's Attitude, Effort, Results doing now? Let's talk about it. Let's give you a little glimpse into what we're working on, how we're moving forward, and let's go on this journey together. Right now, Hunter and I have actually had a passion to help others, which is weird, right? Right now, we are in a time where we're trying to get in front of college students. We are trying to partner with universities and colleges across the country for two reasons. One, to get our brand out there, right? The people that we want to help, the people that we want to provide value for are college individuals. So we would be idiots not to try to get into universities to, one, get our brand out there. We don't have to hide behind the fact that we want to grow our brand and we want to learn from others how they are utilizing us. We want to get in front of our audience. The second is just to provide value to young individuals. That's what we're spending our time on right now. And if we can get in person with them, we can get over the phone or over Zoom with them, why would we not try to do that? So that's what we're doing right now. That's what Attitude, Effort, Results is up to right now. Hunter and I are actually in the process of helping ASU, Arizona State students, prepare for the NCSSC, which is the National Collegiate Sports Sales Competition, and Baylor S3's program, which we partnered with weeks ago and that we posted about it. We are super excited to get into it because that's one of the best in the country. That's one of the best spots in the country to get a role in the sports industry. But we're partnering with schools like that to provide our value, to provide our time and help young individuals. This specifically, Hunter and I are doing one-on-one coaching with them, critiquing some of them, adding value to some, congratulating when they do a great job. And it's awesome. We're having a great time doing it. We have 4 students right now that we're helping. And it's throughout a month-long process in collaboration with one of the sports and business professors. It's awesome. It's great. I've also helped with the University of North Carolina, their sports sales program. The head of their sports sales program came and asked me to be a part of their midterms. And so I had students actually call me like a sales call and go through their midterm. Their midterm was to pitch me a sales package. Their midterm was to go through the sales process with an individual from the professional sports world. And so they called and had a sales pitch for me. I helped critique and congratulate them. And I actually filled out a rubric and gave them a grade for their midterm. It's awesome. It's so much fun. So those are a couple things that we're doing right now. I'm speaking with a fraternity next week, a business fraternity, a sports individual or a guy who wants to go to sports reached out and was like, hey, it would be really cool. I have this business fraternity at our school. We would love for you to speak with them. And so I'm going to do that. Provide value with them. Get in front of our target audience. Allow them to see my personality, my passion. Allow them to see Hunter's personality, his passion. So that's what we're doing. Right? I have another speaking engagement lined up down the road, but if you and your school would like to help us book those, would like to help us get in front of universities, in front of colleges, in front of students and provide value, if your school, if your program, your business program, your sports program, your sports business program, if you need a different voice, let us know. Let us help you out. We would love to provide value for the school, right? Or a specific subgroup. Reach out to us. Let us know how we can help. All right, what will you gain from today's episode? Today's episode is avoiding burnout. How do we avoid being burnt out? This is a good one, especially down the sports and business line. If you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to be down those lines, and obviously if you're in sports, it's a great one. It's a really, really good one. You will gain today actionable steps on how to work your butt off, be elite, and avoid burnout. What is burnout? Everyone's like, what are you talking about, burnout? You want me to do donuts in a parking lot? Like, that's fun. Why would you want me to avoid doing that? Burnout is working yourself into the ground to a point where you do not enjoy what you're doing anymore. You do not enjoy the life that you built. You do not enjoy the career path you're in. You do not enjoy waking up in the morning. Many business owners will tell you that working your business so hard, working your career path so hard, that you get to a point of burnout just runs it into the ground. Most entrepreneurs have failed once or twice in business because they have worked it into the ground. So you need to find actionable steps to back off a little bit. Look at it from a higher perspective. Get a viewpoint that's above where you're at. It's not a medical condition, right? Like, this isn't like, oh my goodness, I have burnout, I need to go to the hospital. No. But according to the APA Dictionary of Psychology, burnout is defined as physical, emotional, or mental exhaustion. Not just mental, not just physical, not just emotional, it's all three. In addition to that, it's typically accompanied by decreased motivation, lower performance, and negative attitudes towards yourself or other people. Have you ever felt demotivated? Have you ever felt negative attitude towards others? Have you ever felt that I just don't want to wake up and do this anymore? If that's the case, you're probably burnt out, and most people don't even realize it. Most people don't realize that you've hit the burnout stage until it is way too far gone. Way too far gone. Way too late. You've already crossed the line between, there's like a line, right? It's like, oh, I'm really tired, or I'm too exhausted to function. Because being a little tired, it's like, all right, I kind of suck it up. Let's keep going, right? But being exhausted to the point of, I can't move anymore. I don't want to wake up to go to work. I hate school so much that I really, really don't want to do it. Maybe you're turning to alcohol. Maybe you're turning to drugs. Maybe you're turning to eating. Maybe you're doing nothing because the thought of just actually doing the schoolwork, actually doing the work to put in is so overwhelming. That's called burnout. That's called burnout. And truthfully, you might have a personality, like myself, who enjoys being busy. And that's okay. I enjoy being busy, but what type of busy are you? Are you busy so you're not thinking about things? Are you busy and not moving the needle? Are you staying busy so you don't have to internally feel what it's like that, I'm just gonna stay busy so I don't have to actually like dig deep into myself. I'm just gonna stay busy so I don't have to fail. Might not even recognize when you're doing it, right? You might just be staying busy because that's what you think, and you're like, I'm good. I'm staying busy all the time. What's the purpose of being busy? Why are you staying busy? For me, I found last week in work that I was staying busy a ton, but I wasn't really moving the needle. If I'm not moving the needle, like what is busy doing? Well, I'm gonna get burnt out real quick if I stay busy and don't move the needle. I'm gonna get burnt out real quick because I'm not gonna see results. I'm just gonna be working all the time. And we have 3-4 games in a week, and I get done with a 60 or 70 hour work week. Hunter gets done with a 60 or 70 hour work week in baseball. And he looks back and did 0 sales, created no meaningful relationships, and didn't move the needle at all. That's when burnout's going to start creeping in. And it's going to get here really fast if we do that over and over and over again. Because if you're going 100 miles an hour, we're going to use 100 miles an hour because people can contextualize that. It's visual. You can feel it. Some people who are listening have probably actually driven 100 miles an hour before. So you know what I'm doing. If you're going 100 miles an hour and you suddenly take your foot off the accelerator, guess what? You're still going 85. You're still going 85. However, a lot of people out there, as soon as they take their foot off the gas going 100, they feel like they're doing 20. It's like, no, if you're going 100 and as you take the foot off the gas, like, you're still cruising. You're still rolling. You're still getting pulled over in most parts of the country. Unless you're in Montana, there's like no speed limits out there. So how can we contextualize going from 100 to 85 and being okay with that for a little bit? That's the goal today, right? There will be times when you have to go faster, but we cannot sustain 100 miles an hour all the time. And I'm talking to myself here. This is going directly to me and directly to Hunter. We cannot sustain 100 miles an hour all the time. Can't do it. Your body's not meant to do it. Why do you think we need sleep? Why do you think we need to eat healthy? Why do you think we need to relax? Think of weightlifting, right? You cannot lift, let's say your max on bench is 225. You cannot lift 225 every single set without a rest and do that every day of the week. Can't do it. Your body's tired. That's why you need rest in between sets. If you're like, hey, we're doing 5 sets of 225, it's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Your body's not gonna be able to do it. That's your max. Your body's not gonna be able to do it. But if you work your way up, hey, let's start with 145. Then we go to 185. Then we go to 205. Then we go to 225. And in between, you're taking, 2 to 3 minute breaks. Your body can break down that muscle, rebuild it. Break down the muscle, rebuild it. Break down the muscle, rebuild it. Relax, recuperate, go again. That's why people that run marathons don't sprint the entire time. You cannot sustain it. You cannot sustain it. That's why running backs in the NFL have to switch up. Are they going high? Are they going low? Are they going fast? Are they going slow? You can't just run straight forward at 100 miles an hour every time. If you played sports before, you know that you can't run straight in an NFL football game 100 miles an hour as fast as you can every time and make it work. Sometimes you got to juke. Sometimes you got to run outside. Sometimes you got to throw the ball. Sometimes the running back has to take a break. If you're in volleyball, you can't run the same play every time. It might be your best play. You can't run it every time. It's not going to work. You got to switch it up a little bit. So let's learn how to avoid being burnt out. And again, these are actual steps that I need to put in my life. So we're going to work through this together because this is a journey and we are both on it together. The first is schedule your time. Schedule your time. Take out a physical pen or a physical pencil and a physical piece of paper and schedule out your time. 3% of people just listen to that and aren't going to do it, or are going to do it. 97% of you are not going to do it. That's okay. Because there's 3% of you that are, and then you're going to get better. Schedule out your time. Schedule out dinners with your significant other. Schedule out family time. Schedule out time with your roommates. You can't stay at work all night if you have dinner plans at 6. Because if you're listening to this, you're somebody who follows through with their commitments. You're somebody who is effective and efficient in their process. That does one of two things. If you schedule a dinner for 6 o'clock and it's a half-hour drive home, let's say, it does two things for you. One, you know when you start the day, and this is for people who are in full-time roles that let's just call it a 9 to 5, okay? And if you're in school, you can schedule your time this way too. Let's say work typically ends at 5, but you're like always burnt out because you're working till 7 or 8. You got to get stuff done. You want to move forward. You want to get better. You want to grow. That's awesome stuff. Don't get me wrong. But if you schedule out a dinner at 6 o'clock, you have to leave at the absolute latest at 5:30. That does one of two things for you. One, you become really efficient with your time during the day. Like you know you have to get everything done by 5:30. So you're not talking with friends every 15 minutes. You're not taking an hour and a half for lunch and 42 bathroom breaks. You're being efficient in your time during the day because you've scheduled out your time. The second thing it does is you follow through with your commitments. So you have scheduled out time to not think about work. You have scheduled out time to not be in the focus of work, which allows your brain to relax, allows your brain to create different and new neural pathways, and subconsciously allows your brain to recycle itself. right? Schedule out date nights. Schedule out game nights with your friends. Schedule out when you're cooking dinner. Schedule out personal time. Personal time is massive for me. In the sports world, when Hunter and I work in the sports world, as soon as you get into work, your day, regardless of how you schedule it out, could go any direction as soon as you walk in the building. There could be a big trade, right? Think if you're who just had a big trade? Think if you're the New York Jets. A couple weeks ago, they're sitting in the office, they're 1-5, 2-4. All of a sudden they trade for Devontae Adams. You don't think like whatever you had planned that day, your day's probably different? I can guarantee you that it is, because that happened when Tyreek Hill went to Miami and I was there. It was a random Monday. It was actually March 23rd. It was my birthday. If you guys want to send me a birthday gift, that's cool. It's in March. It's 23rd. Appreciate you. It was actually on my birthday. It was a Wednesday. I know exactly where I was. We were watching tennis. We were hanging out, having a good time. All of a sudden, Tyreek gets traded. Boom. The week changes. So as soon as you get into the office, anything can go any different direction, right? If you're in finance and all of a sudden you're doing taxes and all of a sudden you got a brand new client, a massive client, and your boss is like, hey, you're really good at what you do, like you're going to take this new client. This is the biggest client the company has, like you're going to take it. You're not like, oh man, we'll just do it whenever. No, you're going to go do it right now so things can change. So you schedule out your time. If you schedule out when you're going to do things, you become more efficient. So personal time. For me, it's in the morning. As soon as I get to work, things can go wherever. I try to be as efficient as possible. I schedule out as much as I can, but things go sideways. And when I get home, I said a couple episodes ago, like Callie sacrifices her time for me to do this. So I sacrifice mine at the end of the day with her. 100%. That's what I'm going to do. That's what it's worth. We both sacrifice for each other. She enjoys hanging out after work. That's what I'm going to hang out with her. So schedule my personal time in the morning. And I need to be better at this. I'm good, I'm bad, I'm up and down all the time. Don't look at your phone during your personal time. Because as soon as you look at your phone, your day becomes reactive. And you might get good work done. I get great work done. Some people I talk to on the East Coast, when I'm up at 5, like the day's already going over there, right? It's already 8 a.m. over there when I'm awake. I might talk to clients, and a lot of the high-level individuals I work with are up that early, and that's with their personal time also. So they're not consumed by work, so I can get in contact with them pretty early, pretty quickly, and I can get stuff done from 5:30 to 7 that I can't get done from 8 to 5 later in the day because they're busy, right? So it can be productive, but that takes away from my personal time. Takes away from my personal time. And if you want to schedule out and you're like, hey, I can get really good stuff done from 5:30 to 7 work-wise, then schedule out a different time for your personal time. Don't follow my schedule. I'm a whack job. I'm a weirdo. You don't have to do everything I do. But find time for you. Find your personal time. Right? I wake up at 5 a.m. because I need time to myself. I don't like waking up at 5 a.m. I'm not like, oh my goodness, thank the Lord I'm up an hour and a half before the sun rises. This is great. No, it sucks. It sucks. I would way rather be hanging out in bed with my wife. Way rather be waking up, rolling into work. If you're listening to this, that's just not who you are. It's not who I am. I need personal time. So schedule that out. Your brain, your body need time to relax. And as soon as you look at your phone, it triggers work. It triggers reactiveness. Because whatever's on your phone, you didn't put it there. Somebody else reached out to you. You had an Instagram notification. You had 1,000 likes on your TikTok, whatever it was. As soon as you look at your phone, you're like, oh, that happened, that happened, that happened. Let me see what I can do. That's called reactive. Right? So don't be reactive, be proactive. Proactive is having time to yourself. Hey, I want 30 minutes to sip my coffee. And to not think about work, to not think about what happened. And truly, if you're up early, like nothing in the world needs to be completed at 5 a.m. Like you don't need to do anything at 5 a.m. The world's not like, oh my gosh, how come this report isn't done at 5 a.m.? Like, no. So if you schedule out that time, whenever it is for you, make that your time. Right? Don't look at your phone right when you wake up. Be proactive. Keep your mind and your body sharp. The second active step is communication is key. You got to express your current state to your leadership, to your professors, to your friends, to your family, whoever that might be. In order to avoid burnout, you need to communicate. And it needs to be framed appropriately too, right? Not just like, oh man. Like if Hunter came to me right now and was like, dude, you suck. Like, I need time, and you keep putting all these things on my plate. Like, I gotta recoup. I gotta relax. Like, this is ridiculous. Stop doing this. Well, I might be like, dude, suck it up. Let's go. Come on. But if he comes to me with like, dude, like, I'm trying to grow my career. I'm trying to have personal time to myself. I'm pretty swamped right now. If you got time, could you help me out? You don't think that's framing it a little bit better, right? So if your workload is overbearing, express that. If your class schedule is getting too much and your work at the same time you're in college, you're working 40 hours a week and your class load gets a lot, like, talk to your professor. Hey, this is going on. This is where I'm at. I value my work, but like, I need some help. Communicate that. If the team morale is down and you're a leader, express that. Hey, team's not doing so well right now. What can we do? Take charge, take action. At the end of the day, you don't know, right? Conversations need to be had. Your leadership doesn't know what's going on if you don't tell them. Communicate with them how you're feeling. And this isn't like a sob story or a pity party, right? This is, hey, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be better. I need to recoup. And also, recouping and relaxing isn't just sitting on the couch on your phone. Isn't just sitting on the couch, right? It could be going for a walk. It could be going for a run. It could be playing pickleball. It could be watching a show on Netflix, right? That is something that you can do to recoup. But if you're watching a show on Netflix and working on your phone the whole time, that's not doing it. You're actually hurting it. In addition to that, like, let your anchors, which we talked about before, right? Let your anchors be your anchors. Put some stuff on them. Allow them to help out a little bit, right? Allow them to take some of the burden. When Hunter was going through the season, he was a little late, but did communicate that he needed some help. Yo, let me take on some of that burden, because guess what? Now I'm in the thick of it. I'm going to need him to take some of it as well. So I sacrificed a little bit of time when he was in full season. Guess what? He's going to have to sacrifice a little bit for me. And that's good. That's okay. That's what great people do. Sacrifice builds relationships, right? Sacrifice builds relationships. The third thing is get active. Get active. Get up, physically get up and go for a walk. Walk around the stadium or arena if you're working in sports. If you're on campus, leave your phone at home and walk around campus for 10 minutes. Let the air hit you. Let the sun hit your face. Let your thoughts go wild. Let your brain just think about anything that comes up. Because there are times where you're always listening to music. You're always on TV. You're always, dude, girls, just stop. Just let your brain be your brain. Just sit for 10 minutes in silence. Right? There's this old saying that you're supposed to study right before you go to bed, because your brain has all that time to process it. It processes it faster. You can store more information if it's right before you go to bed. Well, what if you did that like 2 to 3 times a day? What if you studied for a half hour and took 10 minutes to yourself without going on your phone? Now your brain can process it. The reason they say to do it before bed is because you're not doing anything when you're in bed. Your brain has time to process it. You're not going to watch TV. Like, your brain is like, finally, this dude works all the time, and I finally have a chance to relax. This chick studies all the time, and she's really good at it, but like, finally, I have time to relax. That's why it processes a little bit better. That's why your brain is like, thank you very much. What if you did like 2-3 times a day? And just let your brain process throughout the day, instead of being reactive or always listening to music, right? That's an active step that you can do. An active mind is also best for learning. So when you're looking to learn, looking to grow, do all walking, do all working out. Get your mind active, right? That's how we're hardwired to do that. Take control of your mind and unlock energy that you've never felt before. Create new neural pathways in your brain. Allow your brain to think of new pathways. When Hunter and I are writing episodes, sometimes we'll do it Sunday morning, the Packer game's on, and we'll ask to turn the TV off or the volume down, because I want my brain to go. I want whatever I'm thinking about right here, I want it to go. I want it to keep going. But if I got noise on in the background or music on in the background, sometimes my brain just stops at that initial thought. That's not the goal. The goal is to let it go. That's called brainstorming, brain dumping. That's what we're doing. Right? Let your brain go. Be active. The next thing that I have is the last active step for you today. And I'm going to go into a little bit of piece of faith, which I think is important. Is use the Pomodoro technique. If you guys haven't heard me talk about the Pomodoro technique before, I use it a lot. And as you learn and as you grow, you can do it for longer, but the Pomodoro technique is 25 minutes of work on and 5 minutes off. Schedule out your breaks, your time. Work for 25 minutes. Do schoolwork for 25 minutes. And then schedule out time off to allow your brain to relax. It's like working out. You have to schedule out your rests. It's in between sets. You gotta let your body regain energy. The key to the Pomodoro technique is to not be on your phone for those 5 minutes. It's not like, hey, I'm going to work on this project for 25 minutes, I'm going to answer emails for 5 minutes and then go back. It's not, hey, I'm going to study for 25 minutes and then look on Instagram for 5. No. Let your brain go. Talk with somebody, brainstorm with somebody, take a walk, sit in silence. Let your brain relax. Create those new neural pathways. Right? In addition to that, using the Pomodoro technique, scheduling your time, I want you to, I'll challenge you a little bit. Train your family, train your friends, train your clients to optimize your time. My family does not call me if we don't schedule a call anymore. And typically if we're scheduling a call, it's 8 a.m. or 5:30 p.m. Because that's when I'm driving to work. I don't come home and sit on the phone for 30 minutes when I get home. Because my home time is scheduled with my wife. If we're getting on a phone call just to talk, which I'm fine with, I'm good with that. I enjoy catching up with people. It's going to be while I'm in the car. When I first went to Miami, my family and friends would call me all the time. Middle of the day, morning, night, whatever. And I would answer it because I enjoy talking with them. My grandparents especially. They're like, oh, you're always in the car when you're calling me. Like, you're a busy man. I'm like, no, I've scheduled my time. I may go home and sit on my couch with my wife or play board games with my wife. I'm not like super busy doing that, but I've scheduled out my time. Like, oh, you're always in the car when you're calling. Where are you going all the time? It's like, no, I've trained you now that I always talk in the car because I'm not wasting time in the car by listening to music. Like, I can do that while calling. So when I get to the place I'm going, I can be hyper focused on what I'm doing. I won't call a family or a friend member just to talk after 6 p.m. because that's time with my wife. I scheduled it out. Right? Utilize weekends or days off to recharge and refresh. I also, listen, life can be exhausting, right? Here's another one. If you're working, schedule 3 hours on Saturday to work. That's okay. What that might do for you if you're like, hey, from 9 to noon on Saturday, I'm going to crank out some work. Maybe that allows you to go home right at 5 for 3 days out of the week and spend more time with your family and your friends. Maybe that allows you time to go home right away. Because you're like, hey, I'm going to schedule time on Saturday, 9 to noon, and just crank out work. Now you don't have to stay. That helps avoid being burnt out because now after work during the week, you can go home. Hey, I'm going to schedule time on Sunday after church and I'm going to study my butt off. And now I don't have to stay at the library until 2 a.m. all week. Right? That's okay. That's a little opposite and backwards thinking, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm fine with that. Last thing for you guys today. A little chunk of faith. First thing is trust in the Lord. Just trust in Him. Just trust Him. Refuse to worry. And choose a path of peace. Burnout is a lot in the head. It's a lot in your anxiety and your worry. That's what burnout is. But if you have somebody that you trust, if you trust in the Lord, it's going to be more peaceful. Anxiety is a result of envisioning the future without God. That's what anxiety is. Why do we get burnt out? One major cause of burnt out is that we look into the future too frequently. We're worried about how we can get ahead in life. We're worried about how we can move forward in life. And that's why we get burnt out sometimes. We're anxious, we're worried, we're working so hard towards this goal. Just give yourself a break. It's all right. You earn it. You deserve it. Because the tasks that seem insurmountable sometimes overtake us. Here's a friendly reminder from God. If you must consider upcoming events, then follow a couple rules. Okay? Here's actionable steps for you. I love this. If you must consider upcoming events, and you have to get this done. You're in work or you have a test or you have to get it done. Don't linger into the future. Okay? Think about it, do it, move on. Don't linger into the future all the time. Because anxiety sprout out like freaking mushrooms, dude. And when you wander there, your brain just keeps going. And 2 is remember the promise that God has for you. It's His presence. He's there for you. Include God in the imagery that comes to them. That's what I got for you today. How to avoid burnout. Because burnout stinks. Because you went into a career path, you went into that class really enjoying it. But you work so hard at it that you're actually burnt out and you don't like it anymore. Let's not get to that point. Let's take these steps today and avoid burnout. And let's continue to inspire others together. And let's keep growing together. That's what I got for you. I love you guys. Let's inspire others. Continue to grow together.